With the 4.2 anniversary livestream just finishing, we're shown a ton of exciting stuff like, one, we're getting Honkai Sharo X Mappa collab. Not to mention, we also got a whole free limited character, which includes a post-buff Ho-Ho and a Robin. Holy cow. The trailer though for the new version looks awesome, and the new characters in Silverwolf level 999, plus Evanescia looks amazing too. And I don't say that lightly, just check out their skills and all animations. They literally look insane. Silverwolf especially, it's just so cool, man. In any case, we're also shown all the banners that will come in the next version, which apart from the new characters, we also have some very big reruns. Probably one of the strongest lineups of banners in a while. So yep, let's dive into which characters you should be pulling for, and I hope I'm able to help you gain some perspective. Just real quick before we start though, hey, duty calls. It'll just be really quick, guys. Listen, pulling for characters can be a train wreck like this one, which is why I like to introduce a website named Aniba. Aniba offers top-up services that I personally use in order to get the best top-up deals at a discount for the same top-ups that I already planned to purchase. You know I only use the trusted sources, which is perfect since Aniba complies with Hoyoverse's top-up service guidelines, and that's the biggest doubt removed. So to get the new version for incredible looking characters here with Aniba, click my link in the description, purchase the bundle you'd like, which actually has the best price that you can find, enter yours or maybe even a friend's server and user ID, complete the purchase, and voila, your resources are in game, no fussy login required, zero hassle involved. You can even get exclusive cashback for your purchases that you can claim in your Aniba wallet for your next purchase, so it's just more money saved. If you're already planning on spending anyway, Aniba is honestly a good deal, and why not give it a look-see? And this actually helps you very much to afford food on the table, and I appreciate your support. Now then, back to the video. Now that that's out the way, let's start the video off by looking at the first new character banner of version 4.2. It will be the iconic Silverwolf level 999. To start with a summary, she is a very strong Elation main damage dealer. Sounds simple, right? Just wait till you listen to her kid. First of all, her talent allows her to gain hidden MMR based on the punchlines gained by the team. Now, hidden MMR is basically her unique alt energy that is shown right beside her character icon. It's the 999 in the alt icon slot. This makes her playstyle simple enough. Gain as many punchlines as you can, which gains Silverwolf as much hidden MMR as she can, which will ultimately unlock her ultimate for her to use it for damage output. Speaking of her ultimate, Silverwolf will go into the level 999 God mode. She'll also go into it with some insanely badass animation. She'll apply a unique zone while she's in this mode. At the start of her turn in this mode, Silverwolf will activate Reward Stage while attacking all enemies. This is where she turns the whole field into like sort of a game. After attacking for a while, she would then pause the attack once the loading bar in the middle reaches a checkpoint. Once she pauses, the icon in the bottom right will then randomly select 1 out of 3 weapons to attack the enemies. There are different weapons, and if you get the sword, which is named Big Flipping Swords, it's hilarious, she will use it to deal damage to all enemies while dealing additional true damage to the enemy with the highest HP. Now if she gets the bomb instead, she will use it to attack all enemies while recovering skill points. Now if Silverwolf gets the Pac-Man looking weapon, it'll attack all enemies while allowing the team to gain extra punch lines. So it's pretty much an RNG thing. Depending on the luck of the draw, you'll get different effects. Since there are 3 checkpoints in the loading bar in the middle, that means Silverwolf will get to draw the weapons 3 times throughout this entire period, and all of them will provide different effects. Once she reaches the end of the loading bar, she attacks all enemies with literally 100,000 laser beams. It looks straight out of like a Gundam movie. Now do remember that Silverwolf deploys a zone when she ults. Now with the zone, if your allies consume skill points within it, there's a chance to trigger a blind box, which randomly selects the 3 weapons from Silverwolf's ultimate and apply their effects on the enemies. So not only does Silverwolf does damage on her own, she also helps her allies by, well, doing damage during her allies' turn, I guess. This also means someone like Sparksy that spends a lot of skill point will be one of the premium allies for Silverwolf to maximize this effect. On top of all of that, she still has her Elation skill. If she's in her alt God mode state, her Elation skill will deal very high damage to enemies. But if Silverwolf is not in her alt God mode state, she will instead not attack at all, and she'll only generate hidden MMR points while looking hella smug. This means her Elation skill is designed to either help her get to her ultimate or help her deal damage when she's already in her alt's state. As for her technique, as she enters combat, the Pac-Man weapons effect will activate. This will basically mean you get extra punch lines. One final thing about her kit as well, she actually also has a global passive. The moment you get Silverwolf level 999 in your account, when your allies get CC'd, Silverwolf will be able to prevent your whole team from being CC'd for a short time. Of course, it has limited usage usage per fighter wave, but it's a very awesome improvement for anyone's account, specifically improving survivability. Now, while I personally don't mind global passive, I do think they don't want to add too strong of a global passive for certain characters that would make people like have to pull a character or they fall behind. I don't think this specifically is something of that magnitude, but hey, let me know what you think about it though. With all that said, we can very simply see how Silverwolf is supposed to be played. You gain as much punchlines as you can with the team, which helps her gain hit and MMR, and once you max that, you'll get access to Silverwolf's ultimate, which gets her into the god mode state, enhancing her damage output massively, with even some form of support for the team with the skill point and punchline regenerations via her various weapons. That will basically mean Silverwolf's best team is a team that can best generate punchlines, making characters like Yao Guang and Sparksy, and even the newly revealed Elation MC, the best options for Silverwolf as teammates. A deadly combo would simply be Sparksy spending all those skill points to regenerate punchlines, Silverwolf taking those punchlines, which also gains her ult energy, and getting her ult off very quickly with insanely high certified banger stacks and damage output. Yao Guang or Elation MC will be making the whole team go even crazier with more Elation skill usage. You know how it is with Elation teams, it gets insane. All of these points towards Silverwolf being designed as the true main damage dealer of the Elation archetype so far, where she's really geared towards dealing massive damage after taking every Elation related mechanic into account. And she will probably be doing exactly that, just a bunch of damage. To answer the question of should you pull though, the direct answer is yes if you're planning to play the new Elation archetype. If you're planning to play the new Elation playstyle anyway, you likely have Yao Guang and Sparksy, and Silverwolf is generally just the perfect puzzle to complete the trifecta of Elation characters we have right now. While Yao Guang and Sparksy will be really strong allies for Silverwolf, you can actually still make do with Elation MC with any general supports like even Tribbie, plus any free sustains like a Huo or Dan Heng PT. So no matter what, as long as you would like to play the Elation team, Silverwolf will take the role of the main damage dealer, at least for now. While you would really prefer Yao Guang and Sparksy, that doesn't mean you can't possibly play her if you're like a newer player that doesn't have a lot of the new characters, right? In any case though, the better answer will actually be to wait for her numbers first along with Evanescia's number. You want to take all their performance and compare it to the existing teams that you're using. If they're really insanely strong, well, guess what? That's one more reason why you should be pulling for the new characters. If they're not really changing things too much for you though, where you already have really strong accounts that you can beat everything, then it then becomes just a preference thing. Would you love to play with the new Evanescia and Silverwolf, or would you like to just keep what you have now and wait for something else? And you never know as well, perhaps Evanescia is just better than Silverwolf. In any case though, all of the testing I will be covering before they release, so do follow the channel if you're interested in that. Now, to provide a cautious answer though, you can technically consider skipping all these characters, considering we're actually still early into version 4. There may genuinely be characters that are stronger in the future that will be released, but unfortunately there are no real way to tell what might happen in the far future. So realistically, I think players should just simply wait for the numbers to be released first, then make the best informed decision. Though I think based on the animations alone, Suru's already got my pulls in the chokehold, dude. I will be pulling even she ain't strong, man, but chances are she will be. And yup, I'll be making content on her before Suru's is released, so stay tuned for that to see how good she is. With the bratty hacker out the way, let's take a look at the second phase's new character banner, which would be the whimsical Evanescia. To provide a quick summary, Evanescia is also a strong Elation main damage dealer, kind of just the same as Silverwolf so far. Now they do have some difference with their kit style. To understand Evanescia better, let's take a look at her ultimate first, which will be her main source of damage. She'll be attacking with Master Fox in an insanely badass anime type slash. This ult will deal damage to all enemies, and that's all that's been shown actually. Her skill though attacks one enemy and adjacent targets while gaining 10 punch lines. Now her talent is what's truly interesting. Evanescia's talent allows her to increase her certified banger stacks along with her energy, and conversely her energy will also increase as her certified banger stacks increases. To explain it better, that means if you gain energy, you gain certified banger. If you gain certified banger, you also gain energy. This one simple thing shows that Evanescia is a monster at regenerating certified banger and ult energy for herself, which is then amplified by allies that can also provide energy regen for Evanescia, or providing her with punchline turning into certified banger too. Characters like Huo and Sunday will allow Evanescia to gain her ult very much quicker, and Evanescia will gain certified banger along with those energy. Every time AHA instant happens, Evanescia will then gain certified banger. That also increases her own energy, so overall she'll just get her ult a lot. Not only that, Evanescia will also get a share of her allies' certified banger stacks when her teammate gains certified banger, or when their certified banger stacks disappear. All you have to understand with this is she gets a lot of certified banger whether you like it or not, and by increasing the amount of certified banger she can obtain, she'll also get a lot of ult energy too based on her own talent, and all of this will make her gameplay loop extremely direct. Get as much energy regeneration, punchlines, and certified banger stacks as you can for Evanescia. That way you get to spam her ultimate to deal massive damage. Not only that, after gaining enough energy, Master Fox will launch an attack to all enemies too. And again, it'll regenerate energy for Evanescia. This Master Fox thing feels straight up like a mini Memo Shrine thing. Next off, Evanescia's Elation skill simply deals damage to all enemies while providing Evanescia with some certified banger. The animation though is absolutely gorgeous. It's one of my favorite ones. And with that said, to conclude on Evanescia, she's also an Elation main damage dealer that mainly focuses on maxing out her own buffs and numbers to gain access to her ultimate and deal the most damage output with her own hands. The team that makes the most sense for her will include energy regen characters like Huohu and Sunday in order to fully benefit Evanescia's talent that gains certified banger based on energy and vice versa. Other teammates that has synergy with Eva will include Elation MC and Yao Guang as no-brainers, and general buffers like Tribbie can still work as alternatives. Sparxie though will need more testing since she does use up a lot of skill points, though it may not matter if Sparxie's ridiculous punchline generation could mean Evanescia gets her ult insanely easily after every AHA instant, and that team might just work out. To answer the question though of should you pull Silverwolf or Evanescia, now that's a really hard question. And in my opinion, there's only one best option, which is to wait for both their numbers and how they interact with current Elation archetype first. There's no way for anyone to tell who will end up being a better damage dealer if we compare both of them 1-to-1. They do share similar roles of being a high damage Elation character after all, and each of them could very much likely be better than the other. There's also a likely chance both of them are similar in performance under normal investments, and at that point it feels like Hoyoverse would simply be saying pick whatever damage dealer you like the most from the Elation path for this one. One thing to note off though is while it's obvious Silverwolf will highly prefer Yao Guang and Sparxie as her allies, Evanescia doesn't necessarily need them as much as Silverwolf does. That is thanks to her talent that provides her certified banger based on energy, which actually allows older characters like Sunday and Huohu to perfectly make Evanescia function. All they gotta do is just get Evanescia energy, and that automatically converts into certified banger gain via Evanescia's own talent. That would mean Evanescia can perfectly function. She has a lot of certified banger, she'll do a lot of Elation damage. That actually also means pulling for both of them is a valid option in this version, where you can have two fully functional Elation teams at once, with Evanescia utilizing Sunday, Huohu, Elation MC, and Silverwolf getting the premium Yao Guang Sparxie with Danheng PT. If you saved up for a while through Ashvale, this is your time to go crazy if you wish to play both Elation teams. Now, if you'd like to ask the meta question of how would they compare to the meta teams, we'll generally have to see. Chances are they'll be top tier for sure. Either they'll perform around the level of the best Remembrance team, or perhaps even overtaking them. Stay tuned for all the testing next week, and I do apologize for not being able to tell you like a hard, direct, hey, pull this character or hey, don't pull this. But honestly though, with this game, it's really dependent on what are the teams that you're working with. And I can always also just say, if you have two teams that beat everything, you technically just don't ever need to pull anymore. So yeah, pulling from who you love still works best for me. And with all of that, we're finally done with the new characters. It's time to take a look at the reruns now. Phase 1 sees the Dahlia, Castorice, and Firefly as reruns. And god damn it, we're already starting off with bagger options for all three. To start with the Dahlia, now she's actually not going to be like the top tier character, at least currently, but because we're actually going to be seeing Firefly's buff as well in this version, the Dahlia might actually see an increase in value. But yet we'll have to be discussing both the Dahlia and Firefly together. In the case of the Dahlia, she has one simple job, which is to make Firefly stronger with a bunch of supportive capabilities for the Super Break archetype. Meanwhile, Firefly actually just received a buff, which allows her to remain in her ult state for much longer, with slightly increased damage output overall. Firefly already, before even the buff, is already the strongest Super Break damage dealer, so now that she has a buff, she might actually be good enough to be considered in the meta again. The general idea here is that if you want to play the best Firefly team that allows her to shine the best, you also want to pick up the Dahlia. The problem is we definitely aren't sure how strong post-buff Firefly is yet, but there's a definite chance that Firefly would become significantly stronger. And for players who especially has her invested, including her E2, you may want to consider pulling the Dahlia and perfect your Firefly team and see it perform at the top tier again if her buff ends up being really good. There's also a chance Firefly's buff at normal investments at E0 aren't going to be strong enough to outpace the top tier teams anyway, which would then mean I wouldn't recommend pulling the Dahlia or Firefly. Of course, unless you love them dearly and you want to like get some of their Eidolons too, then go right ahead. I'll be covering all the buffs and their performances in a few days as well, so yep, check the vids out if you're curious. As for the Castorice rerun, she's basically, well, the best damage dealer of the game still. In fact, she's also the sustain for your team. She can deal AoE damage, she can murder bosses, she can revive if you die. She's just everything in one right now. The best Castorice team of Castorice, Cyrene, Evernight, and Hyacinth is still one of the strongest, if not the strongest team in the whole game. So there's really no world where you can't play her, or if you shouldn't pull her if you have endgame investments and the perfect team for her. I'd say for most players, it'll be between the choice of pulling Castorice if you want to just complete a Remembrance team that you already almost have completed, or focus on the elation damage dealers instead if you already have stuff like Yaoguang and Sparksy ready in your account waiting for the final piece of the elation puzzle. If you have a mix of both situations, well, it's generally preference at that point. Castorice is a proven top tier remembrance damage dealer, while silverwolf and Evanescia looks to be the next top tier characters. Are they better or worse than each other though? Well, the best move will be to wait and see how their numbers compare, or go with your gut. If you like a character enough, just pull for them, man. My personal guarantee is all of these characters will be good enough to beat any endgame. There's no way they don't, at least in recent times. Moving into phase 2, we do see the reruns of Tribbie, Sunday, and Feixiao. To start us off with the most important one, which is actually going to be Sunday. Now, there has to be a reason why Hoyoverse has placed Sunday's rerun along with Evanescia's banner in phase 2. Even in the live stream, it's shown that Sunday regenerating energy for Eva in order to gain her ult and certified banger is a synergy that can function well. There's a good chance that if you want to play Eva, you want to own a Sunday, which is where you can consider picking him up in this rerun as priority alongside Evanescia right away. Outside of those reasons though, Sunday is still a very versatile support that's used in multiple teams. So if not for Evanescia, the best suggestion I have for you is to look up exactly what your ideal team archetype needs. If it's a Sunday, go for it. Same could be said for Tribbie as well, really. While she won't be the ideal ally for the new Eva or silverwolf, she generally can still be used as an alternative to all of these characters, and that's kind of her role in a lot of teams, an option that can be used. You do have to make sure you get her E1 though, where her performance truly gets a really good increase. Thankfully, you don't need her signature at all, just stick with the dance. I'd actually recommend pulling Tribbie if you're somehow skipping all the new characters or skipping the break effect combo of post-buff Firefly. Like if you're just skipping everything and you don't know what you're doing, well, get Tribbie in her E1 since it's just the most general support that works in 90% of the teams. Even if you don't know what you're doing, the Tribbie can probably fit in your team. Or you know what, just somehow skip everything until the next big teams are released, I suppose. You'd be a creature for that though, like what are you serving for? E6 Xiaozi? As for Feixiao, she is the only one I wouldn't recommend getting right now, unless you're aiming for E2 at least, and if you love the character. At E0 S1 though, Feixiao isn't as strong as before for sure, with her best team as well needing Ashvale, someone that you may not own. And even if you do own Ashvale, playing him as the main DPS in that team entirely actually performs similarly anyway, if not better than having an E0 Feixiao in the team as well. So you absolutely don't have a need for her currently. So up to preference, don't let anyone stop you from pulling if you like the character. There's always a chance they get buffed as well in the future. However, this is definitely heeding our calls and adding more character buffs, right? And in any case, that'll be all for today's video. It's a pretty lengthy one because I really hope I can give different perspective and opinions. You let me know what you'll be going for. I'd love to know. I personally am in a group of getting both since they are too iconic for me. Sakura was my crush in Honkai Impact. Silverwolf is just the face of Honkai Star Rail. Well, at least for me. I'm gonna sell my organs for a man. And yep, I hope you found this helpful and take care.